You have photographs of yourself as a baby. People who were there tell you stories. You can see the crib you slept in, the house you lived in, the faces that were around you every single day, and yet you remember none of it. Not your first word, not your first step, not the feeling of learning that the world existed. The first 3 or 4 years of your life are simply gone. A blank. As if someone deleted the file before you even knew it was being recorded. This is called infantile amnesia, and the reason it happens is far stranger than most people realize. The obvious explanation is that babies are too young to form memories. But that is not quite right. Babies form memories constantly. A newborn recognizes its mother's voice within days of birth. A 6-month-old remembers a toy it played with 2 weeks ago. A 2-year-old can recall specific events from months earlier. The memories are forming. Something else is erasing them. Here is what is actually happening. Memory is not one system. Your brain runs several different memory systems at the same time. There is the system that stores facts and events, what scientists call explicit memory, the kind you consciously recall. And there is the system that stores skills and habits, called implicit memory, the kind that lets you ride a bike without thinking about it. Explicit memory, the kind that lets you remember your 3rd birthday or your first day of school, depends heavily on a brain structure called the hippocampus. And here is the problem. The hippocampus is one of the last parts of the brain to fully develop. In the first years of life, it is still being built, still growing new neurons at an extraordinary rate, a process called neurogenesis. A researcher named Frankland, working at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto, studied this directly. His team found that the same rapid neuron growth that makes early childhood brains so adaptable and so good at learning also constantly disrupts and overwrites the memory circuits being formed. The brain is growing so fast that it keeps remodeling the very structures it needs to store long-term memories. New neurons integrate into existing circuits and destabilize them. The memories form, and then the growing brain erases them. It is not that the filing cabinet is empty. It is that the filing cabinet keeps being rebuilt while the files are still inside it. But there is a second reason, and this one involves language. Memories are not just stored as raw sensory data. They are organized, labeled, and retrieved using language. When you remember a story about yourself, you tell it, even silently, in your own head. You use words. You build a narrative. A 2-year-old does not yet have the language structures to build that narrative. Without the words to organize an experience, the experience does not get stored in a form that the older, language-using brain can later find and retrieve. This is why your earliest retrievable memories tend to cluster around age 3 or 4, the period when language develops enough to start giving experience a shape that memory can hold. Think about your earliest memory right now. Wherever it sits, it is almost certainly a fragment, a flash of light, a feeling, a single image with no before or after. That is not a coincidence. That is the edge of the system coming online, the first moment the filing cabinet and the language to label the files existed at the same time. So the first years of your life are not lost. They shaped you completely. The attachment you formed with the people around you, the emotional patterns you learned, the way you respond to comfort and fear. All of it was written in those early years into systems that do not require conscious recall to keep working. You do not remember learning that the world was safe or unsafe. You do not remember learning that love came reliably or unpredictably, but your nervous system remembers. It has been acting on those lessons every day since. The blank is not empty. It is just stored somewhere you cannot look.